Hello, this is Linus Literature Library, reading between the lines where stories come alive. I'm so grateful that you are here again. So we are jumping right to episode 3 on prison graduate. Now here we are going to have a deeper meaning behind the story, the themes, the social commentary, etc. Now instead of thinking about what did the characters do, what did they do, what did they do, what did they do, no, we are rather going to focus on what does their actions or role mean. What is the writer saying? We are looking at the themes also, etc. So welcome back to this channel. And in the last episode, we began exploring the story of prison graduates. We saw in the play, okay, that it's much more than a story set in a prison. It is a reflection of society itself. So, in case you ask the setting of this book, it's the prison, a prison. Okay. So today we are going beneath, the surface to examine the powerful ideas Kodjo Mawugbe presents through this remarkable play. Now, one of the first things that becomes clear is that prison graduates is a criticism of society where the system no longer, works as it should. Instead of rewarding honesty, hard work, integrity, find out that the system often rewards corruption, manipulation, and selfishness. Now, this immediately raises an important question. What happens to ordinary people when they lose faith, okay, in the institutions that are supposed to protect them? Kodjo Mawugbe suggests that when justice is weak and corruption becomes, the norm of the day, society itself begins to resemble a prison. People may be physically free, but they are trapped by poverty, unemployment, fear, and hopelessness. This brings us to one of the play's most powerful symbols, the prison itself. First symbolic artifact you can get in there, the prison itself. So in case you're asking an exams, that's a first symbol you get in there, the prison. So even the cover of the book, you see someone with the graduation cap. I don't know the name of that, but see someone behind bars, okay, behind metal rods. So the prison itself is a symbolic, a powerful symbol, right? Now, at first glance, the prison appears to be the setting of the story. But as we read further, we realize that the prison is also a metaphor. It represents every situation in which human beings are denied freedom. Not only physical freedom, but also economic freedom, political freedom, and even moral freedom. In other words, the play asks us to think carefully, okay, about who the real prisoners are. Is it those in our own prison, or you and I? Is it only the inmates behind bars, or are the corrupt politicians imprisoned by greed? Food for thought. Are dishonest officials imprisoned by their abuse of power, or unemployed graduates imprisoned by a broken system? These are uncomfortable questions, but they are exactly the kind of questions good literature should make us ask. I hope you are following. So another major theme which we are talking about, after talking about the prison itself, another major theme we should look at is leadership. Leadership. Now, throughout the play, Kodjo Mawugbe examines what happens when leaders place their personal interest above the welfare of the people. Instead of serving the nation, some leaders become servants of their own ambitions. Some can say, I promised myself this. I promise that when I do this, I'm going to do this. When I go here, I'm going. So like they look at their own gain first. What do I gain in return first before what the society gains? Now, public institutions begin to fail, trust disappears, and ordinary citizens suffer the consequences. Although the play was written years ago, this theme remains relevant today, and it will still remain relevant 10, 20 years from now. Across many societies, people continue to debate issues such as accountability, transparency, responsible leadership, etc. Now, this is one of the reasons prison graduates continues to resonate with modern audiences. Now, the play also explores the theme of unemployment and frustration among youth or young people. Many educated young people, dream of building successful lives, yet they encounter obstacle after obstacles. Opportunities are limited and merit is often overlooked. Some become discouraged. Others are, tempted to compromise their values, their principles, just to survive. Kodjo Mawugbe is not simply telling us that unemployment exists. He's not just saying it that, okay, yes, unemployment rate is high. It's everywhere. If you look at what is happening in South Africa now, you know that unemployment exists, not only in Ghana, not only in West Africa, but the whole of Africa and the whole world at large. He's asking, so he's not basically talking about unemployment, no, but he's asking a deeper question. What happens to a nation, okay, when it cannot provide hope for its youth? What happens to a nation when it cannot provide hope for its youth? Ask yourself. Because hope comes when you start to make a living. Then you begin to know that, okay, if I begin, as I start to make a living, I begin to put 1 + 1, 2 down. I begin to put 1 cedi plus 2 cedi down. So that 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 gives me hope for a better life ahead. Gives me hope to be able to cater for my family. Gives me hope for tomorrow that, okay, it's going to be better. It's going to. So the question is, what happens to a nation when it cannot provide, hope for its youth? Now let's look at humor. Humor is another remarkable feature of the play. Okay, brilliantly written, even while discussing serious nation issues. Kodjo Mawugbe frequently makes us laugh. Okay, from characters like Abunchi, he says, but this is not humor. For it to say, no, it is satire. Now, satire uses laughter to expose human weaknesses and societal problems. We laugh at the characters, but soon realize that we may also be laughing at our own selves. So we are not basically just laughing at characters or laughing at Gomido or laughing at Basa Basa. No. But at the end of the day, or laughing at the preacher man, but we can end up laughing at our own self. This is what makes Prison Graduate such an effective work of literature. It entertains without losing sight of its message. Another lesson from the play concerns personal responsibility. Now, although the play criticizes government and institutions, it reminds us that society, okay, in general, is shaped by the choices of individuals. For that gutter to be filled with dirt, with sand, it's as a result of choices that 1 or 2 individuals made. For that refuse dump to be full, to cause diseases or outbreak of cholera and diarrhea in a particular vicinity, knew that it was the choice of 1 or 2 individuals. For mosquitoes to be breeding at the backyard of a citizen, know that it is as a result of the choices that citizen made. for our gutters to be choking, for there to be flooding, for houses to be built on waterways, know that it is as a result of the choices of one or two individuals. So the even though it is even though the writer is also criticizing the system and those in leadership, it's also criticizing our choices as people, my choice as a person. So you find out that corruption does not begin in government offices alone. It begins whenever people abandon honesty for personal gain. Perhaps the greatest achievement of prison graduates is that it refuses to provide easy answers. Yes. Because you would have to think to know what Kodjo Mawugbe is trying to say. What is he talking about? There was a part where the characters were arguing about selling coffin or making coffins for so because people get to die. And then another character says, okay, so you are praying that I die, or you are praying that a family member of yours dies, so that you can make more money. Because so you see how it, so you have to think deeper to say, is it trying to condemn the one selling or making coffins for sale? No, he isn't. He isn't at all. So instead, it invites every reader. The book invites every reader. Kodjo Mawugbe invites every reader to reflect on the kind of society we are helping to build. So as you think about this play, ask yourself these questions. What does freedom really mean? Can a nation truly develop without justice? Can education alone, solve society's problem if moral values are ignored? Can it? Does my degree certificate, okay, or my master's, honors, or PhD certificate, can it really solve our problems? Because no matter the level of education you have, I feel that if you are not morally upright, if you've lost your moral values, if you ignore your values, your principles, if you ignore the norm, what is acceptable by society, then I feel that we are all lost as individuals and as a nation. So, and perhaps the biggest question of all, who are the real prisoners in today's world? That is what Kodjo Mawugbe is asking us. Are you the real prisoner? Am I the real prisoner? Who are the real prisoners in this world? So these questions remain just as important today as they were when the play was written. Now, this brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you for joining me and for, if you have any discussion or any question or anything you want to put across or contribute, please don't forget to leave that in the comments. In the next episode, we'll examine the characters in Prison Graduates. We'll look at how Kodjo Mawugbe uses each character to represent different aspects of society and why these characters, remain memorable long after you've finished even reading the play. Because each and every day we get to meet these characters, either in ourselves, in our friends, in our neighborhood, in our families, etc. So if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who appreciate African literature. Until next time, keep reading, keep questioning, and remember, great literature doesn't simply tell stories. It changes the way we see the world. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in episode 4. Mwah!